Are you sure?
Here's the 30-second lesson on what legends know. Never ask a bride why she's getting married. Don't wear a skirt on a windy day. Deodorant is not a shower. Don't sniff chili flakes. And don't forget, saving is not investing. Legends don't just save, they invest in mutual funds. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
The business phase, the really serious phase of the elections of the voting is now beginning. As we know, it's a 7-phase election. There is one state, however, which is featuring in all the 7 phases. Some states are over in 1 phase, like say Rajasthan. Some might have 2 phases, as in Karnataka. One state has 7 phases. And you know, if one state has 7 phases, that has to be a state as important as Uttar Pradesh. Because what happens in Uttar Pradesh usually determines who rules India. The last time, the BJP got 62 seats plus 2 allies. Earlier, 2014, they'd got about 10 more seats than that. They will be hoping to at least repeat the 2014 performance, if not do better, particularly encouraged by the fact that in the last general election, 2019, SP and BSP worked together. There was a fairly solid alliance, and between those two parties, there are strong vote banks, and vote is very often transferable. This time, the alliance against the BJP is Samajwadi Party and the Congress Party. Congress Party does not have much of a vote bank in Uttar Pradesh. It has declined very heavily over time. So on paper, BJP would think that they have a better chance than last time. Plus, the profile of the chief minister, that is Yogi Adityanath, has now become very strong. He is a vote catcher in his own right as well. At the same time, there is anti-incumbency. People vote differently in an assembly election from how they do in a parliament election. For the BJP at the same time, it's very important to not just retain the 62 that they had the last time, but also make a sizable improvement, because they might be looking at some trouble. At least they will be concerned about Maharashtra, Karnataka, Bihar, and some other states as well. So this is the key fight. 7 phases, 2 phases have taken place. Each phase has very few seats. Third phase is coming up now. And then the next, after that, later in the month, on the 20th, will be the most important salient, the most important piece of real estate in India when it comes to national politics. That is the Amethi, Rai Bareli, Sultanpur salient. Why is it so significant? Because this is where the Gandhi family has contested now for a very long time, starting in fact with Feroz Gandhi in 1952. Particularly since Mrs. Gandhi, the rise of Mrs. Gandhi, Indira Gandhi, we only use Mrs. Gandhi for Indira Gandhi, but Sonia Gandhi, we say Sonia Gandhi, we make that distinction. Since then, this has been the Republic of Gandhi family. They don't often lose there, and when they lose there, then cataclysmic changes take place in national politics for them, for the Congress party. What is cataclysmic for the Congress party can be great news for somebody else. In any case, the voters decide. So 2 occasions when Congress party, the Gandhi family has lost one of these seats. Important. One was 1977 after the emergency, when both Indira Gandhi and Sanjay Gandhi lost their seats here. So Sanjay Gandhi was then in the Congress party, obviously. It's subsequently that Menka Gandhi, his wife, and their son Varun Gandhi, they joined the BJP. That happened much later. And through some steps, we'll go into that, but maybe I'll leave my colleague DK Singh, our political editor, explain that a little bit more. The second time the Congress party, the Gandhi family, suffered a setback in this area was the 2019 election, when Rahul Gandhi lost to Smriti Irani at Amethi. Sonia Gandhi, however, won the Rai Bareli seat. That's why everybody looks at these seats. As we know now, there was anticipation that Rahul Gandhi will contest from Amethi and this time again challenge Smriti Irani, after all, he'd only lost by 50 or 1,000 votes the last time, and this time he's got Samajwadi Party helping him as an ally, which wasn't the case earlier. On the other hand, what he's done is he's gone to Rae Bareli, which is his mother's seat. His mother now is a Rajya Sabha MP from Rajasthan. She's 77. She's dealt with fairly challenging sickness. She's decided not to contest. He's contesting from Rai Bareli. So today the discourse is all about Rahul Gandhi giving Amethi a miss, going to Rai Bareli. But the fact is that the most preeminent member of the Gandhi dynasty is again contesting in the same salient. So that is the larger background. In this situation, again, it's going stage by stage by stage, 7 stages or 7 phases. What can I do better than have my colleagues who are on the ground, 2 of them on the ground, and DK Singh, who has a 360-degree view of politics in the entire country. He's political editor at ThePrint, you know him well. And also, he knows Uttar Pradesh politics very well. So, you see on the screen, on your screens, DK Singh, our political editor. And before I go further, I will tell you a little bit about what you see on his wall, but give me a moment for that. There is Sanya Dhingra. Sanya Dhingra is right now in Lucknow. She's been traveling in Allahabad, Prayagraj region and writing detailed stories. You also saw her story on Jaunpur the other day, where she talked about Dhananjay Singh. And we have with us Shikha Salaria. Shikha is our correspondent in Lucknow. She knows the state very well. Very prolific reporter. And where is she? She is where the action is right now. She's at Rai Bareli. So all three of them will help us understand, they will help us declutter Uttar Pradesh's politics, what's happened in the 2 phases so far, the geographies, more than literal geographies, political geographies, and why they are significant, and what lies ahead, and also the significance of what's happened in Rai Bareli, Amethi, because in Amethi there is a candidate, and in Rai Bareli there is a candidate, none else than Rahul Gandhi. While we go ahead with it, I will also ask you to focus on the 2 pictures on the wall behind DK Singh. Now, if you came to the print newsroom, in fact, if you were a subscriber at some point, we'll have a program some point soon where subscribers could visit our newsroom, maybe individually, maybe in small groups sometimes. And one of the things we'd like to flaunt to you, besides, of course, our stellar team, one of the things we'd like to flaunt to you is our walls, because on our walls you will find the political history of India. Because with carefully chosen pictures, we have given you a glimpse of whatever happened, the major turning points in India's history, going right back to the days of INA. Now, many of the pictures, the contemporary pictures, when I say contemporary, pictures that pertain to the last 40-45 years. Many of those pictures have been taken by Praveen Jain, who's our photo editor, and who is by any definition the finest political photographer in India. Also, he has a very fine sense of political history and political moment. So the 2 pictures that you see behind DK on the wall, you see on the right, on your right, as you see, or as DK, or to DK's left, because the pictures are behind him, that is, you see that profile of Madhav Rao Sindhia, late Madhav Rao Sindhia. Now, what exactly is happening there? This is at Indira Gandhi's Samadhi, at one of her death anniversaries. At the anniversary, you see Sonia Gandhi. We'll enlarge the picture for you. You see Sonia Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi. And it so happened, as Praveen Jain tells us, that Madhav Rao Sindhia were just walking around the Samadhi, waiting for Sonia and Priyanka, etc., to come, and suddenly they came. So he didn't quite have the time to join them. So he's sort of hanging out behind this stone. This stone is a memorial rock that was erected at Shakti Sthal, Indira Gandhi's Samadhi. So he's sort of hiding behind that. I'm not sure he's actually hiding, but it looks like he's hiding behind that. And trust Praveen Jain to just get that moment, and that too from this angle. That's one picture. The other picture there, you see the people sitting on the sofa. That is the real cast of characters of Indian politics. See, Arun Nehru, no more now. This is the picture at the formation of Jan Morcha. Jan Morcha is when a bunch of leaders left the Congress party and set up a new political group under the leadership of VP Singh. That's when VP Singh walked out of the Congress party, and that's when the decline of the Congress party started. The excuse then was Bofors. So if you see the sofa and the back of the sofa, on the back of the sofa, that is go left to right. On the back of the sofa is Ramvilas Paswan. The reason I'm explaining this picture to you is that this picture not only has the political history of India post 1987, this picture also has quite an insight on today's politics, because many of the characters featuring in this picture are no more there, but their imprint or their children or their dynasties are playing a major role in this election as well. So see, first of all, on the back of the sofa, go left to right. On the back of the sofa, you have Ramvilas Paswan. Ramvilas Paswan passed away, unfortunately, but his party, his son is running his party, that is Lok Shakti Party, LJP, and that is a key constituent of NDA, and BJP is counting on them on delivering quite a few seats in Bihar. So that is still a force. Arun Nehru is no more. He does not, or his family do not have an imprint on the elections now. Next is VP Singh. VP Singh, again, his family is not there, but VP Singh's imprint is all there, because if there is Mandir versus Mandal in Indian politics, then VP Singh represents Mandal. After VP Singh is Biju Patnaik, no more. But you know what? Naveen Patnaik, his son, he is the monarch of all his surveys in Odisha, and he's now under a big challenge from the BJP. So what happens in Odisha, or what BJP is able to get out of Odisha, Naveen Patnaik has a big role to play now. On the other side, he's not in alliance with the BJP. This time, for the first time, they are like real rivals. Next to him is Chandrajit Yadav, not a factor right now. He in some ways represented the left in the Congress party, the socialists in the Congress party. KP Unikrishnan, former minister, again not featuring in anywhere right now. And who's the young man to extreme right, also sitting on the arm of the sofa, just like Ramvilas Paswan to the extreme left. So on the extreme right, the young man is Arif Muhammad Khan, today very popular, and he came to the BJP ultimately, and now governor of Kerala. So these two pictures give you a fair bit of idea of what's been happening in Indian politics and what's happening right now. So after that long preamble, over to DK Singh. DK, how does UP look to you?
Let's look at it from from what has happened today. Now, Rahul Gandhi not contesting from Amethi is kind of pretty is a sort of a setback for the opposition, because we have seen the Samajwadi Party, Akhilesh Yadav is putting in his might. In fact, he was expecting the Gandhis to actually contest from both these constituencies. Akhilesh Yadav is the leader of the opposition. He has to be in the UP, but he was kind of getting a bit optimistic about this election, and so he went ahead and decided to contest himself. His wife is contesting, his cousins are contesting. So SP is putting in his might, and here you have the alliance partner who has just given the signal, who has shown some kind of defeatism. I mean, running away from Amethi has given a big ammunition to the BJP to call the Congress. Like today we heard the Prime Minister talking in Bengal that the elections are over, results are already declared. Daro mat, bhago mat. He was taunting at Rahul Gandhi.
Daro mat is the Congress party's slogan.
Yeah. And now we are going to hear it repeatedly from the ruling camp, from the ruling party. I have been speaking to Congress leaders today. They are very surprised by this decision. They think Rahul Gandhi should have stayed away. He should not have contested from the second constituency. If at all he did, he should have gone to Amethi and actually taken on Smriti Irani, no matter what the results are ultimately.
Yeah.
So I know, Shikha, you were there. You were there in Rai Bareli now. What are you seeing?
Sir, it's a very interesting election this time in Rai Bareli. Like you rightly said, Rahul Gandhi has changed his seat. But there's also another very important aspect that we are looking here. BSP has decided to contest this election from Rai Bareli. So this is also going to dent the India Alliance's vote share, mind you, last time BSP did not contest. It has this time fielded a Yadav candidate. And if I give you a little bit of an explanation about the caste-wise distribution of Rai Bareli's populace, I'll tell you that OBCs are the maximum in the electorate. They form the they form the maximum vote bank, followed by the SC population and then the upper caste. So the OBCs are over 6 lakhs here in numbers. And this
Out of,
time
out of,
Mayawati has got
out of how many? What's the total electorate?
out of almost 17 lakh 65,460 numbers, we have 6.70 lakh OBCs and 4 lakhs SC populace. So you can this time Mayawati fielding a Yadav candidate is going to dent the India Alliance's vote share very significantly. One, because the candidate is very good. It is a Yadav candidate. The second thing is that it is the SC populace which has usually been the deciding factor in Rai Bareli. So Mayawati fielding a candidate is going to take away not only the OBC, the SC vote share, but also the OBC chunk, because Yadavs form a very important part of segment, a very huge segment of the OBC vote bank here. So that is also something that we are not really looking at. But since I got this information and I was comparing it with the last election, BSP in respect to to Sonia Gandhi had deliberately not fielded a candidate. This time BSP fielding a candidate is going to be another setback for the India Alliance. And also the candidate that the BJP has put up, he is a good candidate. So if I give you a little explanation, a little background about how he fought the election against Sonia Gandhi last time. If I compare with this election with what happened last time, Dinesh Pratap Singh has been refielded by the BJP. Dinesh Pratap Singh is a strong candidate. Why? Because last time he got 38.8% votes as compared to the 55% that Sonia Gandhi had got. So this is the highest ever percentage of votes that any rival has managed to get against Sonia Gandhi, which is why he's being considered a good candidate, and which is why, leaving many contenders aside, BJP went for Dinesh Pratap Singh. He's a Thakur candidate, so he'll have the Kshatriya vote bank bagging him. That's about 1.40 lakhs here. He'll also have a chunk of Brahmins voting for him. Brahmins are 1.35 lakhs in populace here, and along with 7,000 Vaishyas, who also where also he seems to have a good reputation. So Dinesh Pratap Singh being fielded, BSP fielding a candidate, is going to be not a very easy road for Sonia Gandhi. It clearly sends a message that for Rahul Gandhi, it clearly sends a message that not only the BJP is making the fight tougher for the India Alliance candidate, the Congress candidate Rahul Gandhi, but also the BSP, because of course Mayawati has been extremely unhappy with the way Congress has taken away its MLAs in Rajasthan and other states. So this is an election that we must watch out for. It is not a walkover at all for Rahul Gandhi.
No, and the BJP candidate is one of the former election managers of Sonia Gandhi, right?
Absolutely. Dinesh Pratap Singh's family is residing in a very palatial kind of a house in the heart of Rai Bareli. It's called the Panchwati. It is because he has 5 brothers, and all of them were at one point of time associated with the Congress. And he was the guy who would once, who in the previous almost a decade back was handling the election management for Sonia Gandhi. He would be looking after supervising the booths and the booth management, talking to leaders on behalf of Sonia Gandhi. And he was the man who, after switching over to the BJP in 2018, went hammers and tongs against Sonia Gandhi, and he was the one who taunted Sonia for not even coming to Rai Bareli for collecting her certificate after a win.
So for a BSP, it's a bit of a payback. And the fact is that the 55% that Sonia Gandhi got in Rai Bareli the last time, that was the lowest for her. She's got a lot more vote. In fact, I think in 2006, when she came for the by-election, after she had to resign because of the NAC Office of Profit case, because her NAC membership was seen as that, she had got more than 75% of the vote. So she was not on a rising curve. She was already on a declining curve. So it's going to be a tough election, looks like. Sanya, give us the big picture on UP, because you've traveled across a lot of Eastern UP, in fact. We will share also the story that you did on voters, what voters are thinking in Amethi,
Yeah.
Rai Bareli. So the link will be there with the
Yeah.
description.
I have, but before I get into that, I'll talk a little bit about Rai Bareli Amethi, because that is in the news today, and we were there about,
Yes.
say, a week or 10 days ago, and it was not just the voters, but if you even see the party cadres in Amethi, Rai Bareli, it almost, and I wrote this as it is in my story, it feels like they are in a different time zone, because the Gandhis are still the primary figures over there. Every kind of political chatter is about the Gandhis, and one thing that came out over and over again was that every voter felt like their political identity was sort of inextricably linked with the Gandhis. So in fact, like in Rai Bareli, people would say that if not for the Gandhis, people would think we are from Bareli, like we have no identity other than the Gandhis. So and they go back, it's a place where both these constituencies are places where you feel like 100-year-old history is something that still people are talking about all the time. So how Indira Gandhi first set foot in Rae Bareli, how Nehru first set foot in Rae Bareli, how Sanjay Gandhi came to Amethi first. There's this almost this legend about how when Sanjay Gandhi came, he put a bag of cement on his head and helped build roads there. So these are things that people talk about all the time. So you can, and the narrative against dynasty politics that we see across the country, it seems to have no purchase in these two constituencies, where even the anger against the Gandhis is more intimate. It's like a sense of betrayal. So so while Shikha is there and she'd be able to tell us more, from the mood that there was 10 days ago, I'm sure the party cadres and the voters, the sense of betrayal would be a lot more intense now. Now. And the feeling of squandering a legacy, that sentiment would be very strong. Now coming to the rest of the election, as you mentioned, I have mostly been traveling in Eastern UP. I think if I can give some general takeaways, um, it seems to me that this time the election seemed to be a lot more localized. You see, there is no sense of a national narrative on which the elections are being fought. Especially you get the sense when you go to rural areas. If you go to cities in Lucknow, Kanpur, of course, that kind of the chatter about nationalism, the chatter about Vishwa Guru, about India's prestige across the country, those are major factors when you go to cities. But the moment you go into rural areas, it seems like everybody is talking about the candidate. Who is the candidate? What is the caste profile? What's the caste dynamic of a constituency? So it seems to me that the election is a lot more localized. When it comes to the BJP, I don't know if it is as much anti-incumbency, but you do get a sense of voter fatigue with the BJP. There is a sense of, okay, we've heard this for 10 years now, what next? But as you mentioned at the beginning, the popularity of the chief minister is huge. The law and order situation, I think, and I'm sure Shikha can talk about this more because she lives here. I think this is something that everybody concedes across the political spectrum, that the law and order situation under Yogi Adityanath has become a lot better, and that is a voting sort of issue for people. But I think the kind of charisma, the kind of popularity that the prime minister enjoyed, say, in the 2019 election, that he doesn't seem to as much. Now it's more that kind of fanfare is more for the chief minister than the prime minister in UP. And I'll conclude by saying one thing, that the slogan, when you talk to voters and even BJP party cadres, this 400 400 par slogan seems to have also backfired, because it has made party cadres, and it's something they concede themselves, it has made them a bit lazy, and it has also kind of made the floating voter, and especially voters from the lower castes, a lot more skeptical about the changes in the constitution. And this, you see, this issue is not just something that liberal circles are talking about. The threat to the constitution is something that has percolated down, and it is something that people are talking about. So the 400 par slogan seems to have backfired for the BJP, at least in the constituencies, in the eastern UP constituencies that
Well,
I have tried.
We just run a story. DK can tell you a line about that. We just run a story with analysis of how the mention of 400 par has actually
Yeah,
declined and almost disappeared from the Prime Minister's election speeches.
yeah.
Shikha, before I come to DK, do you really think that law and order has improved in Uttar Pradesh under Yogi Adityanath?
There is a sense of improvement in law and order, that the people think that there is law and order has improved. And as a citizen, I mean, since I've been residing here for over the past 8 years in UP, I was earlier in West, now in East. I can actually see that there is a very palpable difference in how law and order is being dealt with at an everyday basis. So what we are seeing is that the whole narrative that Yogi has CM Yogi has been able to change is from Gunda Raj to to a more dominant kind of policing, and a policing which is more aggressive, and a policing which is more instant. That is the word that I would like to use. So earlier, when crime used to happen, we would see that people would be very angry. Especially, there were a lot of crime against instances of crime against women and children happening across UP. So this time, the change that CM Yogi has been able to bring in is the kind of is the way is the timing of how to deal with crime. So the timing, the response timing of the police arriving at your doorstep and actually handling a crime, and taking cognizance of an issue has improved. It has come down drastically, which is why, especially metro, especially cities which are the emerging cities like Gautam Budh Nagar and Lucknow, there we see that police has been extremely proactive and very instant. And it has been my personal experience that police has been far more quicker than it used to be earlier. Second thing, that there is a change in narrative and the change in mindset. Also, I would like to reiterate that when CM Yogi completed 6 years in power, he mentioned a very important line. He said that we have been able to change the perception of about UP, and that is very true for the law and order situation of this state, which is as big as a country. So what we are witnessing is that police is more instant, and also people are coming forward with their complaints far more easily, and they think that police has become approachable. But along with that, there is another issue that people do think that is dominant in policing, and that is the aggressive behavior of the police as well. So police may have become more active, it may have become more approachable, but at the same time, there have also been many complaints of police high-handedness, and how police has sort of jumped its gun at times, and gone ahead and address a
Yeah.
situation with
So this
encounter like approach.
Many of these questions were put to your DG of Police, Prashant, and I will share. We will share a link of that interview. That interview was done by Apurva Mandhani with your DGP. So please, viewers, check out that interview as well. And these questions have also been put to DGP, who has some strong answer to these.
So at this point, probably Sanya can come in. She was in Allahabad trying to see how people's lives have changed after Atiq Ahmad's death.
So yeah, I was in Allahabad, now Prayagraj, and it's of course been a year since Atiq Ahmad's death there, and the sense that you get from see, I have let me just quickly mention, I've now been to 3 constituencies where we sort of covered these gangster politicians. I started with Ghazipur, where there was of course Mukhtar Ansari. Then I went to Jaunpur, where there was Dhananjay Singh, and lastly I went to Allahabad, where there was Atiq Ahmad.
Atiq Ahmed.
So the sense that I got from the first 2 constituencies, in the context of Mukhtar Ansari and Dhananjay Singh, of course, both of them have the kind of worst kind of cases against them of murder, of loot, of and so on. But the kind of Masiha image of these two gangster politicians, it was very, very evident. It was sort of every other person you would talk to, and not just the poor people, even the sort of middle class, lower middle class people would acknowledge that these were people who went out of their way to help the poor. So you can, they were considered sort of a parallel state in both these constituencies, and they held their own darbars and so on. The general impression was कि इनके दरबार से कोई खाली हाथ नहीं जा सकता. If there's a wedding in the family, if there's a medical emergency, they will sort of help the poor. In Atiq's case, on the other hand, the sense that he was a parallel state was there, but mostly in a negative sense. But a year after his death, the sense of relief in the city is very, very palpable, because his kind of Gunda Raj was widespread. People would tell me that it was not possible to. Now, of course, these can be exaggerations, but people would say it was impossible to buy property without giving Gunda tax to Atiq. There were flats that would be built, but which never could get sold because Atiq's men would come there and their eyes were set on those properties. So now the sense of being able to do business there, the sense of being able to buy properties there, so that sense of relief is very palpable in Allahabad. But if you go to the Muslim community, and we did not see this in Mukhtar's case. In Mukhtar's case, we saw that both the Hindu and the Muslim communities felt exactly the same way about Mukhtar. But in the case of Atiq, his popularity among the Muslims was a lot more, and his kind of Masiha image was sort of limited to the Muslim community. And for the rest of the city, the sense I got was there was a palpable sense of relief that he is not there, and the kind of sense of that now there is law that prevails in the city, that is kind of palpable there. And you have across Chakia, which is where Atiq lived, you see that the buildings that he owned, the house that he owned, his office, they've all been raised by the government. The rubble still lies on the road, so that kind of visual impact, the visual imagery is there, and it's kept there for people to see. One thing before I conclude, I'll add is that one of the places where Atiq owned the land, the Yogi government has constructed houses for the poor, about 70 to 80 flats for the poor. And what's interesting is that they're all colored in saffron. And so even when we spoke to the people who lived there, they were like, if Atiq was indeed a Masiha, he could have used this land for us, but he didn't. So that sense of, in Allahabad, the sense I got was a sense of relief.
So DK, we've taken too long already, but you have to have the last word. So maybe three questions for you. One, with this, do we see now that the BJP, at least in Uttar Pradesh, sees the rise of another leader who's quite prominent and who can also be a vote catcher? That's one. Second, the Prime Minister had not as yet, in this election, spoken about Pakistan. In fact, only yesterday I was thinking that I will ask you to do a little word cloud thing to see if Pakistan had at all featured in his speeches, but Pakistan has come back today. Why do you think has that happened? And number three, how serious do you think is this issue of the Congress party giving, or the Gandhi family giving Amethi a miss, and at the same time staying on in Amethi Sultanpur Rae Bareli enclave by going to the Rae Bareli seat?
For the first question, Yogi Adityanath has, of course, emerged as a very, very popular leader, and going by what Sanya and Shikha are telling us from the field, if this time people are talking about Yogi more than Modi, it has been a change since 2022 at least, because in the assembly election when we were traveling in UP, still people would be talking about Modi's schemes, free food grains, how he managed COVID. Now that in the election to elect Modi as the prime minister, people are talking about Yogi, of course we are seeing the emergence of yet another big leader in the BJP. As for the second question...
So the outcome, the final tally in Uttar Pradesh will also have a bearing on Yogi Adityanath's future.
Yeah, of course, because what we are saying in 2019, when you saw Yogi Adityanath traveling all over across the country, this time we find him totally focused on UP. Although he's going to some places, but he's totally focused on UP. He knows how much stake he has on the results that he's able to deliver.
Yeah, maybe that was the point of 7 phases.
Yeah. Then
Next two questions. Uh, the return of Pakistan after a break.
so we see this return to Pakistan and his anti-Muslim pitch. Now today in West Bengal, you heard him saying that Sandesh Khali people are not talking about Egypt because the accused is a Muslim. Now he's very direct now, very aggressive. We did not see him talking so openly about or so openly targeting one community in 2014 or 2019. That does show a kind of shift in his strategy, because when he had started, he was full of confidence. That was when he was talking about Abki Bar's 400 par. And the analysis you were talking about, when we did that analysis, we have analyzed over 70 speeches since the 16th of March, when the election dates were announced. So in the first 6 rallies, he used Abki Bar 400 par 56 times. And then we started seeing
Decline.
how the frequency was coming down. From April 7th of April onwards, we have seen a very drastic decline in the frequency. So it's not that he
Correct.
has completely stopped talking. Even today in Bengal, he mentioned it once, but that was after 11 speeches. He had just previous 11 rallies where he did not mention Abki Bar 400 par. So that tells you that that narrative, that confidence, that slogan was reflecting, that has somehow gone missing. That confidence, and now you're going back to the old BJP's rhetoric against the Muslims, and again talking about Pakistan, although it does not seem to be resonating that much as yet, because you do not really see other party leaders talking about it. That the message has not reached home.
And the third thing, although you spoke about it in the very beginning, how much of a bummer is it for the Congress party?
You
How
know,
they've sort of
2000,
they've
this
looked
election was
indecisive, sure about this area.
this election was beginning to throw up some surprises. In 2019, we saw the SP going with BSP and RLD. It was a formidable combination, and yet they got only 15 seats. This time, RLD has gone with the BJP, SP and Congress are there. You did not expect that kind of fight back that you're witnessing in many constituencies, and Shikha and Sanya would probably agree with me. In many constituencies, there is a fight, and that's what they're saying, it's localized. So still, BJP of course will manage. BJP has a clear edge, but the fight back is something that we are not expecting from the opposition. And just when the opposition was kind of getting hopeful that there was some chance for them, some places, Rahul Gandhi's decision to actually run away from the battle, if I could put it that way, not to go to Amethi, has been a dampener for them.
Although I must say it's not the first time that the Gandhis have hedged besides Amethi and Rai Bareli. So in 1978, DB Chandragowda, who was Congress party's elected MP from Chikmagalur, he resigned so as to vacate his seat, a safe seat for Mrs. Gandhi, Indira Gandhi, to contest from there. She came back in 19. She won that election, came back to Lok Sabha. 1980, she contested from Rae Bareli again, but she also, as I told you, hedged and went to Medak in what used to be combined Andhra Pradesh. She won both the seats. She retained Medak and then resigned from Rae Bareli to leave it to hand it over to a party faithful, namely Arun Nehru. Further on, in 1999, when Sonia Gandhi contested, that was just over 2 months after she had taken over the party chief's position. She contested also from Rai Bareli. She also hedged by taking another seat that was seen as a safe seat for the Congress then in Ballari in Karnataka. So in fact, her rival in Rai Bareli then was Sanjay Singh. Sanjay Singh, who's been in and out of the Congress party. When he's in, he's a family loyalist of the Gandhi family. When he's not, then he's a very tough rival. So in fact, the slogan at his rallies at that point used to be Sanjay Singh ke dar ki mari, Sonia bhag gayi Bellari. Sonia also won from both the seats, but she gave up Bellari and retained Rai Bareli. So again, this time we see Rahul Gandhi is contesting from 2 seats. One in Deep South, considered a safe seat. Second, Rai Bareli, which he obviously considers much safer than the Amethi seat. And that is what has now become a talking point, and also the fact that Priyanka Gandhi is not contesting. Now, before I let you all go, I will also share with you one more picture from Praveen Jain. This is in 1989 when Rajiv Gandhi comes to file his nomination form at Amethi in 1989. So look at this picture, and why do we have all these pictures on our walls? Because you know what? We always believe at a time when people say, oh, politics is boring, Bollywood, cricket, this, that, bakwas, gossip, all of that's fun. We think there is nothing more fun and fair than national politics, Indian politics. That's why we have mugs that say because politics matters. It's been a wonderful conversation. DK, thank you very much. And Shikha, you are in the hottest state, hottest politically, and hottest also in terms of climate. It is not the most comfortable time to be covering a campaign. Sanya, you got a really interesting region to cover, to travel through. So thank you all three of you for joining in. Two of you, in fact, in the field. I know it's tough and communication and signal sometimes is an issue, but it is your presence that has made it such a rich conversation. And I hope our viewers also see it that way.